in by clicking the link in the stream's description. The professor wants to hear from you.
Beginnings on the cusp. Not too old to adjust. Old dog, new tricks. Remember, I was just a pup. Something dirty in my cup. Clean soul, good karma.
Yeah. Woo! Woke up with a vision, it's Professor Bear's day. Ruling the game, coming hard, paving his way. Thoughtful and smart, yeah, the wisdom of math. In a world full of shadows, he's breaking the cast.
Welcome, 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 and thank you for joining me today. I am Professor Bear, and this is A Bear's Thought. And today, this episode is brought to you by Chops Cards and Print on Demands, your go-to custom trading card, prints, and more. Indie wrestlers and promotions, listen up. Do you want to have your own trading cards? Chops can make easy to turn your in-ring moments to collectible gold. Whether you are a champ on the rise or running your own fed, they are looking to help look legit. Use the code BEAR15 for 15% off, because even indie legends deserve a sweet deal. That's Chops Trading Cards and Print Design, where your gimmick becomes greatness on glossy stock cards. So, today, friends, I am joined by a young lady that has been doing her thing on the independent scene for quite a while. Quick background story on this guest. Me and her did a podcast almost going on 2 years now. And I thought I had lost the video. So I never put it out and felt bad for that. And was going through my old computer, and what did I find? I found that video. And I was like, you know what? That will not do her justice. So I reached out to her, and she graciously decided to bless us with her presence. Let me introduce SOS. How are you doing today, ma'am?
I'm doing good. How about you?
Hanging in there, hanging in there. So to start off, tell the people about you and your history in wrestling.
Okay. So I actually started wrestling back in, I want to say 2016, because it's been 9 years. But I haven't really been on the indie scene like for that long. I've actually been going out and about for about, I want to say close to 4 now. So a total of like training and doing every matches and stuff out of the state and everything has been about 9. But I've been doing this since 2016. I'm currently residing in Arizona, specifically Phoenix. I train out of Arizona Wrestling Federation. I'm actually one of the trainers now over there. So I'm helping actually the future generation coming out of Arizona, pretty much up and coming and going out of state and everything. So that's what I do. I mean, more about me is I'm pretty much going out about myself. I don't just stay in Arizona still. I'm actually supposed to be going to California this weekend. So I'm actually pretty excited to go back out there because this is, I love traveling. I'm very much a traveling person. And I think being in this business, that's basically what you have to do. a lot to get your name out there, and that's kind of been me. So yeah.
Cool. That's very cool. So, one thing that I definitely remember in the other interview is you had just went to Atlanta to compete, and you got hurt out there.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Yeah,
so,
I broke my wrist.
so hopefully, and I say this with all due respect, I hope I am not your jinx and you do not get hurt this weekend. But
No, no, we're good. We're good. I'm a lot safer now. The move that it happened with was a flatliner, and I don't do that anymore. It used to be my finish. It's no longer my finisher now. So so we should be okay. We
uh,
should be okay. I'll even knock on wood just in case.
well, I love it. I love it. So, how's your wrist doing now?
It's doing a lot better. There are days like obviously when it's raining, even though in Arizona it doesn't rain that often, but like in the spring and the winter when it did rain, I would feel the aches, because of the plate and everything. But outside of that, I'm moving around as if like there's no issue. Um, I actually kind of it's a funny story because I healed from it very fast. Um, I had the surgery, I wanna say, like, the week after I got hurt. I got X-rayed, MRI, and they're like, "Alright, we're gonna get you situated," because, like, not to get gross, but the bone was moving, like, it was adjusting trying to get to itself, and they wanted to actually make it to where it's a straight line, and it was like this. So they didn't want it to keep moving away, and I have a disformed, kind of wrist, so they wanna get it done ASAP, and then I healed within 3 weeks, and then I only had PT, physical therapy for about, I wanna say in that length of time, but they told me I was supposed to be out for 6. I was mostly out for only 3. So,
Wow.
I just kinda took the initiative within after those 3 months of being healed up and having the PT, because I have most of my mobility back, if not almost all of it, especially now, but when I was done with PT, I was very much one of the very rare few that got most of it out. Um, I took the time the other 3 months to just kind of shake off the ring rust and also, get myself together, because in the same time I broke my wrist, my stepdad had passed literally within that same time frame, so I needed to take a even longer break to kind of do my own grieving and, help my mom out and stuff with that as well. But yeah, and then I came back in, like, February of last year, and it was, like, almost no like, it almost like nothing happened, as per se, like, I kinda moved around like it was plain and normal, but a lot of the fans freaked out because we made sure that no one knew I was coming until that show day. So, because I told everybody, "We're not telling the fans, I'm just gonna show up, and I'm a surprise little match for them." So, yeah, it was pretty cool, and I'm good now, so it's almost like I said, it's almost like nothing ever happened. If not, it's a lot stronger. I still feel like it's a little weaker than my left wrist, but it's a lot stronger than what it was when I first came back. So,
Well, that's good to hear. It's very good to hear. Um, so, how did you start um, getting into wrestling?
so my dad is a huge wrestling fan, so that means it by proxy, so am I. He did take me to a couple shows, like, I went to one of the Raws back in the early 2000s, and then he also took me to a Rumble, and I actually got to see, I think it was, like, and there was, like, one show, I believe, where Edge, like, ran in the from the crowd, and I think he cashed in. There was one that I got to see that, like, I got to see him run live because I was right above it, and I was very confused on why this man was running and realized it was Edge once he went over. And then I kinda was like, "Oh, I wanted to be a wrestler because I saw somebody like Jazz and Jacqueline, and then later down the line, like Beth Phoenix and Natalya come through. Because the other girls, they didn't really appeal to me. Because if you know me, I'm a thick girl. So, seeing the skinny girls, I'm like, "No, it's not my," like, I feel like I can't compete with that. So I was like, "Oh, no, I don't wanna be like them. I wanna be, like, fit, muscular. I wanna be like, like them." So as I got more into wrestling, I found like TNA and got to realize, Awesome Kong which that's like the one person that really solidified like, okay, I can be, super powerful and look cool and stuff. So that's what I'm gonna do. So as I got older, I still watched wrestling. I didn't really know if it was gonna be for me because obviously it looks like it's painful. And as I grew up, I'm not into getting hurt. So um it wasn't until like about my early 20s where I was watching NXT, and that's when Becky, Sasha, and Charlotte went to the main roster, and they were starting that whole Divas Revolution thing. And I got to see them and got to see Bailey in NXT and watch actually that kind of stuff. And was like, all right, I want to do that. I want to go there. So that's kind of like set me on the course in 2016 where I came and moved to Arizona and started my training there.
Oh, okay. That is very cool. So, with the, can you tell us a little bit more about your training? How long did you train, and what were your goals then versus now?
Yeah. So when I trained in 2016, I was pretty much ready by like I want to say like a year because in it was like June 6th, 2017 is like when I actually had my student showcase match, which was really the debut like green light match that once I do this, my trainer was okay with me going elsewhere if I wanted to. Um, and within that time when I trained, my main thing was really to understand the business, understand how to really be um, fit. And then kind of like once I learned that there's a difference between being in shape and in ring shape, um, that's like kind of where I was like, okay, so I need to learn how to be in ring shape because it's a whole different ball game. And it definitely was. Um, but my goals now, because I'm still technically like in training, but I'm more like fine tuning a lot of my stuff, like shining my tools up in case I need to do something, or if I'm adjusting a move or adding a move, I'm still doing training. But my main things now is to just keep being at the top of my best, the best I can, and really just kind of share my experiences with the other trainees, because a lot of them definitely, especially the females wrestlers, they really look up to me, and they usually just ask me questions like, "Oh, how's women's wrestling like outside of Arizona? What does it look like?" And very interested in that kind of stuff, and a lot of the trainees, even that aren't the female wrestlers, they ask me, how's it working with the California wrestlers versus, Texas or New Mexico or Colorado? Like everybody wrestles different. So to kind of give them that aspect as well, um, kind of like is my goal is to kind of pay it forward by helping out the younger talent, but also at the same time, like my goal is to try and at least get to, obviously, like, the big leagues as close as I can. Even if I don't, I know my one goal that was to do this already has happened. So, being in the big leagues is the ultimate goal, but even still, there's goals in between there um, that I wanna achieve while I'm heading up that route.
Uh, that is definitely a goal I think every professional wrestler has or should have to better themselves.
Mhm.
Um, so, tell me about your first title win, and what was your mindset then when you actually got to hold that title?
Oh, okay. I tell this story all the time because this wrestler, without her, I probably would never have been out of state, and I thank her almost every day, whether I tell her in person or I mentally say it. My first title win was against Gypsy Mac. It was in Colorado. It was for Renegade Championship Wrestling, and it was for their Valkyrie title. And I did not know anything at all. I thought it was a normal match. We did it, and then at the end, because she cheated, the commissioner came out, was like, "No, we're restarting it," and I was like, "Okay," and and I won, and I was very, very shocked. I kind of did cry. I didn't cry a lot till I got to the back. Um, but in the moment, I was kind of shocked, and I still kind of have the video where I kind of had my hands out like this, trying to get the title, but I didn't fully extend my hands. I was like, and like, because my brain couldn't comprehend that I had won my first title. And so from then on, like, yeah, I've been very fortunate. Like I said, I always thank Gypsy for that. Especially because that year we were basically wrestling each other in every state possible that we were in. So Colorado, we were in Arizona a lot. We were in I think we wrestled in Cali a couple times. And at that point, that was like that whole year we were wrestling just each other back and forth. And now like we both have gone our own paths. So, but when we reconvene, it's almost like nothing ever happened. Like we've been wrestling each other constantly again. But yeah, that was my first championship win, and I still think about it because of how it happened and how like I was very shocked that my brain had short circuited and paused and not grabbing the title, and the person handing it to me was like, "Grab it," and I was like, "Oh," I grabbed it. I finally like registered to grab it.
Nice. That is super. So, what are your thoughts on wrestling today for uh, female wrestlers?
I say that it's definitely a lot better than what it was before. I think a lot of us who are up and coming and even currently in the independent scene, even in the big leagues, we're changing it almost every day. I know certain things a lot of people think is we're setting like it's being set back, but I feel like a lot of what we're all doing, like that's almost like a one off or like not as often situation. Because a lot of us we wrestle just like the guys. um, like and I can attest to this because of the many female wrestlers I've wrestled. They hit me hard and I hit them just as hard. And a lot of people are like, a lot of the fans go, "Oh my god, you almost look like you killed her," and I'm like, "Yeah," because they're so used to. I think they're so used to the female wrestlers hitting each other lightly, and it's like, no, we're not taught that way. We're taught with just we're trained with the guys. A lot of us are trained with the guys because there only was us, or there's only so few of us in comparison to the male wrestlers. So we got to get trained with them. We don't get treated differently. And a lot of us say that we don't want to be treated differently than the guys. We just want to be equal. We want to be seen like we can compete doing the same things that they do on our in our space, and we've been proving it time and time again. And I think that's the reason why I bring up Jazz and Jacqueline and Beth Phoenix and Natalia and also the Four Horsewomen and even the current wrestlers in the big leagues right now. Like they paved the way for wrestlers like myself to come up because we are able to show that we can kick ass just like the dudes can. And right now, I think the state of it is a lot different than even when I came up. Because when I came up, it was in 2016, 2017, and even then, like it's only been a few years since Divas Revolution happened. They were still like kind of figuring things out with how far that women's wrestling can go. And so even I was trying to like do my own paving my way in Arizona. And I'm hoping in what I've been doing has its own impact. So
So, with that being said, how do you feel about WWE um, doing a second Evolution pay per view, which is all female, and that the NWA had their own female pay per view? How do you feel about that?
I think it's amazing. I've been in a couple promotions who actually have done all women's events, and they have been nothing short of amazing. It brings the crowd of not even just like the guys coming, but the females. A lot of the I know a lot of the demographic has been male. A lot of the females um, and they like with the females they don't see it because there's only maybe one or two women's matches. There's not a lot of us. But when you get a lot of the females like Evolution, you really get to show those little girls and those other the other older females, like the teenagers, the young adults who thought about actually being a wrestler, actually see that they can do that because, hey, there's someone there that looks just like me. And something like this, I think it's amazing that I feel like it should be done more often. I know Evolution was like years ago, and everybody's been wondering when the second one was supposed to be coming because it was rumored that it never happened, and now it's finally happening. I'm hoping that WWE and NWA and any other like AEW or even TNA, that they slowly bring that to the forefront. Like it, even if it's not like a yearly thing, maybe if it's a bi like a bi-yearly where it's every 2 years or something where they bring this up because it's clear that there's a ton of women's wrestlers. You just have to. It's more like you have to just go and look, like find the ones that fit your cup of tea. I guess if that makes sense. Especially with the independents. I've been very fortunate. I think I've been on three or four all women's shows, and I loved every single one of them. We really feel like we're our own little family because we all like relate to being female wrestlers and really relate of talking like traveling and things like that and meeting each other because some of us like we've been I've actually seen you on Instagram. I've really been wanting to wrestle you or like me and Gypsy have been on a couple and we'll just be like, hey bro, like how's it going, like seeing each other because we've always crossed paths because me and her are both in the Southwest. So that's also like its own thing. So I think it's a great thing. And I feel like it should be a staple and it should show that to even the independents that you can have an all women show and it still can succeed. So
That sounds great. One thing for me, I'm very vocal about women's wrestling, how um, there needing to be more women's wrestling, the respect. One thing that it bothers me, and I know it sounds strange coming from a man, but I hate the sexuality that they put towards women
mm,
and wrestling. Um, I think it's demeaning. I think that if you would just let women show that they're just as creative, they can carry stories and stuff, I think it could take it to the next level, which is slowly is translating into that. With that being said, what is your feelings about the being over sexual put on women versus the men?
um I feel like it's definitely more because both men and women get the same thing, but I feel like with the women it's definitely more. Especially with what some of us wear. Obviously, I wear long tights and just like a little like kind of like half crop top kind of deal. So me, I'm a little different, but even I still get sexualized in my own way. And I don't like it. I rather just be seen as, hey, I can wrestle, and I know a lot of us are the same way. And some people, and maybe some wrestlers do like that. Maybe that's something that's the point. But I know it's definitely something that a lot of us get frustrated for and are quiet. Not really quiet about it. It's just more like we'll tell them to back off. But it the sad reality is that's part of wrestling, and that's something that should definitely stop. But I know, like, even outside of wrestling, women are sexualized all the time as well, and that's something that has to stop in itself as well. And it's the same thing with men, especially the male wrestlers. Like sometimes I feel really bad for them, because just like the male fans are bad, the female fans can be just as bad with the male wrestlers, and it's just I don't know, like, I never understood it because 'cause I've never been a when I was a fan, I was never like that. I was just like, "Oh, they look really cool," or, "Oh, that guy's attractive," "That girl's attractive." I never was really, like, over sexualizing people, but I seen it and I never understood why. And then even as a wrestler, I still don't understand, like, what's the point? What is it going to achieve? And I think, like, that's why I'm like, yeah, I don't really I want it to stop. I just like stop overall, especially for the females, because I know it can get really, really bad and really, really scary. And I mean, we just had a situation recently with Roxanne, for example, um, getting her own unfortunate threats and all that stuff. And it's like, you guys, we all got to back. Everybody got to back off. Like take a breather and actually be a human for a second.
Yeah, I definitely I couldn't have said it any better. Um, one thing else, mm, something else I wanted to talk about, where they have intergender matches. What are your stances on those?
I think those are fine. I've only had maybe a couple, but like I said, I train with the guys. I've always have trained with the guys, so to me, like that's kind of the norm. Um, but I know that a lot of people don't like it because it can be borderline like domestic abuse, as they want to call it, or because like the guys are stronger. Like obviously, like a woman wouldn't face a guy, but if you if you watch it, like there's quite a bit of them on even on YouTube that you can look up, like like Candice LeRae, and I know like her husband Johnny Gargano, or her and Cedric Alexander, for example. That if you watch them, like it can happen. It's just it has to, I guess, to like a fan, it has to make sense if it can happen, rather than just put like you can't put like Roxanne against like I don't know, Obafemi. Like you can't
Right.
like in reality it's not gonna work. Like you see the two, it's not gonna work. It's like sorry Roxanne, like you're gonna get crushed. Um, but but like if they see like how it builds and how it works up, then it can work. That's why some intergender matches, like the Cedric Alexander and Candice LeRae one, a lot of people bring that one up. It's like that one actually was cool. That one actually worked. So yeah, I'm for them. I've done a couple myself, and a lot of people found it. At least one of them was pretty funny because of the stuff that we did. We were being very comedic about it. But yeah, like as long as it makes sense and they're not Roxanne and Oprah, then it's fine.
I, I tell you a good one. If you've never seen this one, look up Swerve Strickland versus Athena.
Oh, I have
That
seen that one. That
oh
one's my
man,
favorite. That one's my favorite because Athena's my favorite.
they are phenomenal. I just thought to myself, no way this is ridiculous. This is ridiculous. I ended up eating my words after I sat there and watched it. I was like,
Yep. It
because
can
both of
happen.
them are because both of them are tremendous workers, and
Yep.
they just put on one hell of a show.
Yep. Exactly. I agree.
So, speaking of Athena, how have you? I don't know if you keep up with her or anything, but with her run with the ROH title, I think for myself is so underrated for what she's been doing.
Mhm.
I was curious to see what your thoughts on her run is.
She's underrated, and I would like to. I wish I had the opportunity to work her, just even for just the title shot. Because I've always wanted to work Athena. Because when I was in the indie scene, she wasn't. When I first started, she was still in the indie scene. She hadn't gone to WWE yet to be Ember Moon, and she hadn't gone over to AEW yet. So I was like, oh, I have a chance. And then she joined WWE, and I was like, oh, I don't have a chance. And then she left. And then she got she got released. And I was like, oh, maybe I do. And then she went to AEW and the ROH, and I was like, all right, I kind of have a chance. So yeah, like watching her run has been amazing. I She's very underrated. She's very underrated. I absolutely love her as a worker and everything that she's done. And like I said, I want to wrestle her. That's like one of my bucket list people. So anybody that's watching, if you guys can find a way to make this happen, please. I absolutely would do it. But yeah, I love what she's doing, and I like the people that she's also been wrestling, because I know she's been wrestling some of the like the local talent in that area too, just to kind of like give them like almost a platform in itself, and I think it's nice. And I know recently she actually got to work with somebody I got to be in a Rumble match with over at River City Wrestling in San Antonio, Maya World. She got to wrestle Maya World, and I was like geeking out because one, I want to wrestle Maya World, and I actually got to be able to interact with her in the Rumble match. But to see Maya wrestle Athena was amazing. and even she even said it was an amazing experience. So um yeah, like I love Athena.
Um, so with the current state of wrestling,
Mm.
some of just for me, some of the best workers um, just can do cut promos like amazing.
Mm.
Uh, Athena again, um, Tony Storm, um, even the CEO. My brain just went bad. Okay, Mercedes
Mercedes?
Monet,
Yeah.
um, Rhea Ripley. Um, I think that their promo styles and everything is just top notch, where they are doing even better than a lot of the males are. How do you feel about their doing promoting yourself, doing these things? How do you feel that it is being better and beneficial for women's wrestling and as a whole?
I personally like doing promos. I do them all the time. Like if when we discuss like my socials, if anybody looks at my socials, I do, especially on Instagram. I do promos as much as I can for the shows I'm going to, because it does help you, like with who you are. So me being SOS, I'm a I have multiple personalities, so I'm talking to myself, but a lot of people don't understand that in the ring. So when I have it, when I'm debuting somewhere, my promos usually explain to them, "Oh, okay, she's a little, she's a different crayon in this box." So, so like it tells people that, and then when I go in the ring, they really actually see that as well, because there might be little instances I'll show it, but I can't full blown show it because obviously it's a wrestling match. It's not me just showing who I am. So, yeah, I think promos as a whole is very beneficial. I know a lot of wrestlers. I know a lot of wrestlers either don't want to do it or they don't feel like they are confident in doing it. And I just tell people it's better for you to put your phone and just cut the promo than and introduce yourself and promote the show than not do it and just promote the flyer. I feel like doing both helps. Um, and I try and do that as best as I can. I know sometimes I'll forget, and because especially with how many how many shows I'm on, I do a show almost every week. It feels like, um, but I try my best to do promos, and it's been very beneficial because a lot of promotions that have reached out to me, a lot of them said, "Yeah, I've seen your promo from this place, and I thought it was really cool." And I'm like, "Oh, thanks." Like knowing that it's reaching people and that's how they come to me, has been very like, like a humbling experience because now I know people are actually looking at them and all that stuff because um I'm an introvert and I don't talk a lot as a person outside of the ring. So when I'm SOS in the ring, I talk in the promo, I'll talk in the ring, and then afterwards I'm just whoop. So everybody says I'm quiet until I'm in the ring, and I'm like, yeah, that's very accurate, and that's why. So
So then really this is a way to help yourself to be open when you truly don't want to also.
yeah, yeah. I have to be an extrovert, and I don't, and I love and hate it because I don't like going out. I don't. I really don't, and like I I get really nervous. Like right now, I sound like I'm fine, but internally, I'm like, oh my god, I'm rambling too much. But like as a person, I don't talk a lot, and when I do, especially about wrestling, I'll just ramble on and on until somebody like will stop me or I'll stop myself. Um, and with wrestling, you have to be an extrovert. You can't really just be an introvert. You have to put yourself out there. So wrestling is a constant daily challenge for me where I have to put myself out there, promote myself with promos or the flyer, or even just posting photos from previous matches or like the match that I had before, like the weekend before or something. So then it really puts myself out there on social media because this is the current day and age where that's the norm is putting yourself out there via social media. It's not just um, going out to a show and being like, "Hey, my name is SOS. I just came to come like help and introduce myself because I want to be on your show in the future." It's here's also my social media and they pay attention to that stuff. So,
Well, that is honestly a great lesson for any wrestler who don't understand that you are a business unto yourself. And
mhm.
if you don't manage your business correctly, if you are not willing to promote your business, in the world would anybody want to do business with you?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
So, do you have any aspirations of doing wrestling outside the US, or
Yes.
have you done it?
No, not yet. I want to. I wanna wrestle in Japan. I wanna wrestle in Korea. I wanna wrestle in the UK. I wanna basically go anywhere. I've been actively trying to get my way out that way. And there's been some traction with getting picked up eventually, hopefully, fingers crossed over in Europe. Hopefully in the UK because I really want to wrestle out that way because there's quite a few good, if not a lot of women's wrestlers over there, and I want to be able to um, kind of bring my own version of, I guess, would be American style over to British strong style or however they wrestle, to see the contrast because obviously, just like I said, every state in itself, everybody wrestles different. So in every country, it's the same thing. So to be able to kind of get that experience like that would be very beneficial to me, and I definitely have aspirations to go out of the country, and I really really want to, because it would be nice to go out of the country at least to experience not even just out of the country, but experience wrestling and how that is different from the states.
That's good to hear. Another question that I have is, what are your immediate goals right now?
To capture the Arizona Wrestling Federation Women's title. That title has been around since technically I've been around, and I've never been able to hold it once. I've been getting this close, but then I end up not getting it. So my goal immediately is to get that as soon as possible within the next couple of years. I'm hoping that within it's going to be within that time frame. Um, my other one is definitely to wrestle. Either it's either to wrestle at Booker T's promotion, The Reality of Wrestling. I really want to go there. But I'm also trying my best as well to go to like AEW, ROH, because I know they pick up a lot of the local talent, and I've been kind of getting my own stuff together and reaching out to potentially be one of those people. Um, so those are like my main immediate goals as far as wrestling goes, because I know a lot of my other aspirations might take some time. So I'm keeping them, working. They're constantly within the immediate, but I know it's not going to be because um, there's a time and place for everything, and usually life will give me a sign to just like hold off. So I'll hold off and like do the other thing I'm supposed to be doing, and then go back to it if I need to. So.
So, if I ended up coming out that way,
Mhm.
and I saw talked to other wrestlers, what do you think they would say about you and your wrestling style?
Um, I actually know this because the trainees got asked by my trainer, and my trainer told me.
Oh, well, then
Yeah,
it's
it was
perfect.
actually a good thing. I was actually shocked because I know when people first see me, they usually get intimidated because I look like I'm SOS, so I look intimidating. But when they talk to me, I'm like one of the nicest, like chill people. And one thing that a lot of them said is that they look up to me and respect me, and um I they say my wrestling as being like a powerhouse is freaking cool. It my Simone drop looks like I killed the person, like
I,
stuff like
I,
that. Uh,
I definitely agree with that. I seen a couple of your small drops. I'm like, damn, that.
yeah,
Oh,
they're like, oh, you look like you killed them, but like I know that you're safe. And another thing that I hear a lot is about my promos, which is why I harp on them a lot to me. Because especially my trainer, he said one of my best things with me being a wrestler, like if there was a top thing that I'm good at, like if there's a checklist, promos would be the top one. Um, and a lot of them say the same thing. They a lot of the trainees watch my promos a lot. Every time I post them, I know the fact that they're looking at them because they'll talk to me the next day or the same day and be like, "Oh, I watched your promo. It was really, really cool." And I'm like, "Oh, thank you." And yeah, like it's he the reason why he asked that was because that was before I got asked to be a trainer. So he wanted to know people's feelings about me because if they were bad, I wasn't going to be one. And I was like, I would have respected that. I would have respected it. But he wanted to know like how do you guys feel about SOS? And they all said the same thing of like they respect me because I treat them equally. I'm not like I said, I'm very kind and nice. I try and be kind of nice to everybody, no matter where I go, because you never know that person you're mean to, who they're connected to, if it's somebody that you like want to get connected with. And to me, if nobody's bothering me negatively, I'm not going to do the same. But and everybody that I've talked to in any locker room has been nothing but nice to me. And I try to be nice and respectful back, especially people who are tenured or people who, um, who I respect that, give me advice and stuff. I listen to it. Um, so yeah, I love that you gave me this question because I'm like, yeah, no, I actually had this. I've been told how some people feel about me. Um, so yeah, like yeah, a lot of people do that. Even for like photographers and referees and stuff, like the what a lot of people consider the minor people, I figured they're just as important as wrestlers because without them, we don't have the stuff that we have. Even a lot of them like are very thankful for just me being who I am. Because I'm always nice to the refs after the match because during the match I'm a bad guy. I'm not nice to them. I yell at them. I apologize beforehand in advance, but and then like the photographers, I always thank them because without them, like I wouldn't have all the cool photos, especially the ones of like the random facial expressions I make that I don't realize I do in a match where I'm just like staring at the camera, being like, and they like, and I've actually posted one on Instagram where like a photographer gets like the best like reaction faces I ever make when people kick out. I never realized I make these faces. So yeah, like I'm hoping like that's the same sentiment is like throughout whoever else if you end up talking to, like even if it's not even Arizona that know of me, that they're like, oh yeah, SOS is SOS is cool and stuff. Because if not, I'm gonna have to like be like, yo, what's going on? Was I mean to you? I'm sorry. Because like I'm not mean. In the ring, SOS is mean. Out of the ring, SOS is not mean.
so with that being said, how in the world do you play a bad girl? But easily.
Oh, I don't honestly. A true story. I actually like trained as if I was going to be a good guy, and when they were like, "Oh, you're debuting as a bad guy," I was like, "Oh, that's terrible because I can't be mean to people. I don't know how that works." But I figured it out. I kind of took a playbook of watching like Awesome Kong and Jazz and Beth Phoenix to try to figure out like how to really be a bad guy. And realizing like, oh, I just have to be annoying. Like just the thing that I'm the opposite of. I have to be the opposite of me, which is I'm being annoying. I'm being a jerk. I yell at the ref. I go and choke the person and I'll make fun of them. That's how like the whole like little high thing when I choke them happened. Like I randomly did it because I was like, oh, I'm gonna be annoying to the fans and the ref. and the wrestler all at the same time by waving at the fans. And it made that became a constant thing now. Now I do it as a bad guy. But yeah, like I'm naturally just not a bad guy, but I guess us good people learn to be a bad guy through wrestling by watching other bad guys and figuring it out. I don't know.
Or let me have let me say, or possibly being I think of myself as a good person, but I think we all have that dark side that we would love to let out every now and then, and you
This is
just
true.
get that opportunity to do it in a
This
safe
is true.
environment.
This is true. Yes, it's a safe and sanctioned environment where I can be a little bit of my dark side, just a little bit though. I can't full fledge it because I feel like at that point I might as well or retire. So because then I probably would feel really bad about hurting the person right afterwards. Um, but yeah, like obviously there's a dark side, like you said to everybody. So yeah, there's a little bit, but I like it's hard for me to be that like outside of the ring. Do I get mad? Sure. Do I like have I gotten upset? Sure. But it takes a lot for me to get there. So like with wrestling, I had to learn to get there like almost an instant. So like I have to flip the switch to be the bad person. I can't just like work my way there.
Right.
Um so yeah, like I can do it now. But when I first started, it was so difficult. I was like, no, I want to be a good guy. They're like, no, you have to be a bad guy. And I was like, oh, and they're like, yeah, you're gonna beat somebody up like as after they win their match. I was like, oh, that's even worse. so so yeah.
So they decided, you gave them that, and in the end, they're like, "See, we told you."
Yeah, they're like, trust the process. And I'm like, okay, I'll trust the process. And it worked. I got booed. I even had to cut a promo, I think, after that against the champ. And like I got booed even more because I told them that the champ isn't the baddest in the division, it's me. And like they were just like they were mad. I was like, good. You're welcome. And then
Love it, love it.
yeah, and then the promoter was like, "See, I told you." And my trainer was back there too. And he was like, "Good job." And I'm like, "I think I did a terrible job because I am not a bad guy. I don't know how to do this." And then he had to teach me how to like be a bad guy because I really worked to be a good guy in training because I really wanted to do that. I didn't want to be a bad guy at all. And now I'm good at both, especially being a bad guy. So
That is so awesome to hear. A final question.
Mhm.
You had mentioned before that you are very proud of being able to look at have people look at you and see the work you are doing, to be a role model and everything. In the end, after your career is done, what is the major thing that you wish people to be able to say about you, the wrestler, SOS?
um that if they really watched my journey, I worked 1,000 times harder than what people think I've been working. Because my path and my journey is way different from a lot of people. Um, I feel like one of the only people that, as far as I'm aware, and I've had this discussion like with my trainer too, um, is like Awesome Kong would probably be the closest to understand how my journey is, and it's like, and it's weird because it goes back to like the whole like women versus men thing, where like being sexualized and other things. It's not even just that. It's like we still have the constant oh, you're a person of color, oh, you're a woman, oh, you're also thick. Like people see these as, oh, like no, they're not good, no, we'll reach out to you, things like that, right? And to me, I get frustrated by it a little bit, but at the same time I move on because I can't dwell on it. And a lot of people don't realize that a lot of that stuff, um there's so many people who don't get that, and it frustrates me because I'm like, why do I have to have this and you don't? But but in the end, I would rather me have this journey than anybody else. So then if somebody has this journey after, I retire, I can tell them this is what I did. Maybe you should try this and help them get to that point. Cause yeah, I my journey is a thousand times harder, which I think is why I've been doing this for so long and only been in the indie scene for a little bit, for like 4 years. Is because it was a hard, rough journey to try and get to where I'm at even today. And I'm always grateful of the opportunities I've been given and the people I've met across, along the way and all that stuff. But it's still an uphill battle that I think a lot of people won't know until I retire, and that might be, I don't know, who knows? Maybe there's going to be a cool documentary about me about it. So then people really see and know about like who SOS is as the wrestler and the journey that I had to go from A to Z, pretty much.
Man. So that is a wonderful point that you made. I want to take the time as a wrestling fan, as people getting my audience getting to know you. I want to thank you for everything you have accomplished, what you've put in, what you being a trainer. Thank you, because a lot of independent wrestlers do not get that. They do not get the chance to tell their story, to let people from all across the world get to learn you, and maybe people now will follow you and get to know your journey and just to see everything that you are. And again, I thank you. I appreciate you so much. And thank you for coming on my show.
Yeah, no, of course. I'm always happy to talk about my journey because it's like I said, it's different, it's unique, and a lot of people don't know a lot about it, and a lot of it's just because with me, if you watch my socials, I don't like post about my life that often. um, Sometimes I've been slowly doing it around this year because I've made it a goal this year to kind of like open up a little bit of like the stuff I do outside of wrestling, but a lot of people don't know, and I'm happy to share it in in spaces like this, where I can talk about it, about like where I started, how I got here, like the things that the trials and tribulations that I went through, because a lot of people, if they're wrestlers, and they're watching this and they hear it, they'll be like, oh, somebody else is going through it, and hearing that, like, they'll get through it as long as they push through. At the end of the day, like, being a wrestler is already difficult as it is, but like if you're in a position that seems rough, we can push through it. We can push the limit to push through it. And that's like what I've always told myself. And I also tell myself what I call the Pew method, which is prove everybody wrong. I constantly do that every day as a wrestler. I prove everybody wrong because a lot of people didn't think I would last this long, and now I'm 9 years in. So
I love it. I love it. So, if you will, do a shout out, your socials, anybody you want to thank. The floor is yours. Please use it.
yeah, so my socials, I do have a Facebook. It is just SOS because I can't just be SOS on Facebook. But that is my Facebook in case people want to follow that. I also have a Twitter, a Instagram. I do have a TikTok. I don't use it that often, but it's there. um, and all of it is Save One's Soul. My Instagram, you'll mostly see me on, and most of my stuff I post on Instagram are usually posted on Facebook. Um, and I also, within every social, I have my link tree, and on my link tree has everything from my merch to highlights to recent matches. I've been trying to get more of my recent matches in and uploaded. And also, I mean, my link tree has a bunch of my stuff. So if you guys ever want to take a look at my merch, and my vlogs, because I've been doing that now, and things like that, that's where it will be if it's not on any of my socials. Um, or it most likely will be on Instagram, but it's mostly on, it's in the link tree. But if there's anybody I gotta thank, it's mainly Mainly the three people. One is my trainer, LT. Without him, I legitimately wouldn't be here. He's the one that's been pushing me to keep going. Because he's, like I said, he sees my journey as being really, really difficult, and he constantly asks me if I want to quit, and I'm like, no. And he knows that's because I'm very much a person that I say no out of spite, and I'll keep going, but I really want to do this, and he knows that I do. So, um, he likes to play around with me like that to ask me if I really want to quit. And I have to thank him for a lot of things, especially for the SOS name. Without him, I wouldn't actually be SOS. I would have probably been somebody else. um, I have to thank Gypsy. Like I said before, without Gypsy, I really would not have been out of state. We did one match of a 5-way, and I interacted with her a couple times. And she was like, "You're cool. I need to get you out there." And sure enough, she got me out there, and that meant that we were wrestling every weekend for like 6 months straight together. At least it felt that way. If you ask her, literally have 100 and something matches, which is probably far from the truth, but it felt like that. But I have her to thank, because without that, a lot of people wouldn't have seen who I am. I have to thank her for that. And the third person um, is the owner of Sonorian Championship Wrestling, Jay. Um, Without him, I really wouldn't have debuted onto the AZ scene outside of my showcase, because he met me in a show prior, and this is when I was just doing media for the company. And I told him I was a trainee. I got the green light to wrestle. I'm just kind of waiting for my opportunity. And he's like, "Oh, well, come wrestle for us." And sure enough, I got to debut on his show, and that was the first time anybody has seen me in the Arizona scene, which is where about, I want to say, two handful worth of wrestling fans to this day who constantly go to the Arizona shows knows that's where I'm from. um, Though they remember that first match. It wasn't bad. It just they remember it. And I have him to thank, because he gave me the platform to be in Arizona wrestling. Um, there's no shot to Arizona Wrestling Federation, where I train and also do my shows too. But SCW was the one I did my very, very first match for. That kind of set the precursor to working with Arizona Wrestling Federation and anybody else that was in Arizona at that time till now. So I have Jay to thank for that. I tell him this a lot, but I don't think he ever believes me when I thank him. But you better believe me now, because I mean it. Because I mean it. He does understand that without him, SOS wouldn't be here. So
Uh, again, I truly thank you for being my guest. I thank you for your passion, because without you, we wrestling fans wouldn't have something to help our minds get off of our issues and problems and just enjoy the sport. So you don't hear this enough, but thank you. And we do appreciate you.
anytime, as I always tell them, anytime.
And
I'm
you have an
happy to
open
be that.
invitation. You have an open invitation.
Mhm.
We can do this again. If you want to bring people, we can do it. We can get it set up. No problem.
Awesome. No, I very much appreciate that. I'll keep that in mind.
All right. Well, guys and girls, thank you for joining us today at a Bear's Thought. Uh, we had another wonderful, wonderful interview with indie wrestler SOS. And again, I want to thank you, because without you and your support, Professor Bear wouldn't be here. And to let y'all know, I'm kind of weird about saying this, but I am going into a Hall of Fame on July 12th. I thank them for recognizing my work. I thank them for having the opportunity to do it because I don't feel like I deserve it, but other people tell me I do, so I can't listen to myself on this. But you will see more information on this. But again, thank you so much. I'm Professor Bear, and this has been a Bear's Thought. Thank you.